ARK is a phenomenal game, but with a great game comes hundreds of annoying bugs that we have to deal with. And for some reason, the devs refuse to fix these bugs, which is why I have decided to make this known. So here's my top 20 most game-breaking bugs on ARK Survival Ascended. And now coming in number 20, we have the Rhino and the Trike. Now, I found out something pretty interesting. So these two dinos have a charge ability, and this should work with any other dino that has a charge ability that might come out after this video. But as of right now, I believe it's only the Trike and the Rhino that can really do this. So let's say that this is an enemy base, right? So, got an enemy base about 2 walls high, maybe a 3x3 or like a 3x2. And inside, you have your generators, right? Most people put their generator usually on the outside. If there's not enough room, they may put it in the middle. Now I don't think a Trike can hit it in the middle, but I did find out that Trikes and Rhinos with their charge ability can hit through walls, and this is not just with a generator. This is with smithies, this is with boxes, it's with anything that can be damaged, like your kind of usual stuff like, wood or stone stuff. Alright, so first up, we're going to test out the Trike, and as you can see here, I'm going to charge him up. On the top right, you'll see that little charge bar, and as soon as he is about full, I will charge at the base. And as you can see right there, it just damaged that structure. And yep, just like that, it took out that generator. So yeah, that's pretty overpowered, I'm not gonna lie. That's a little broken. Okay, so now we have the Rhino. Now this one's gonna be a little bit of a different kind of charge up. So we're gonna have to run sort of in circles to get this one to work. But as soon as you kind of just do this, and then hit, okay, yeah, so that doesn't seem to want to hit with that one. Yeah, the Rhino does not seem to want to hit properly, so looks like this just works with the Trike. Still a pretty overpowered thing though, so if you're ever building a base out in the open, keep your generator in the middle, don't ever build it on the outside. This video is sponsored by Mitra 9. Mitra 9 is a non-alcoholic supplement that quite literally makes you feel good. These drinks give you a high, but without the impairment. They have a ton of great flavors, my favorite being root beer. If you're looking for a new drink to replace your coffee in the morning, Mitra is the way to go. Simply go to mitra9.com and use my code OUTCAST for 25% off your entire order. Now, back to the video. So this bug is a little weird, I'm not gonna lie. I do not know how to replicate this bug, as I literally just logged into Aberration and I was completely sideways. So I just kind of put this one in this video just to kind of show you guys that this can happen, and when it does happen, your character is glitched like that until you die, which is a bit of a problem, I'm not gonna lie. If you guys do know how this works, please let me know in the comments. I would love to know so I can try to replicate it again. But yeah, I was just on Aberration, I logged in to check something, and my player was sideways somehow. I have no clue. But yeah, devs, if you are watching this, please figure out this issue, because I've seen it happen to a lot of other people, not just me. So, nothing too crazy. This one isn't like game breaking, but something funny here. Look what happens when you parachute with it. The parachute is like swapping directions. I don't even know, it's crazy. But yeah, devs, please fix this one. It's a funny one, but definitely a very weird one. Alright, so there is a pretty decent method to raise a ice wyvern very, very quickly, and this technically does work for any dino. The problem is that it only works for 10% of the maturation. So this milk that you get from the bisons, which I'll show in a minute, if you use that on a dino while it's being raised, it gives 10% maturation. On a wyvern, now I believe it's just ice, I don't think it works with the other wyverns, but I don't see why it wouldn't work, so it just might. But anyways, when it's being raised, it has the chance, so when it says it wants to be fed wyvern milk as an imprint, if you feed it the bison milk, it basically glitches and will allow you to cryo it, uncryo, cryo, uncryo, and just keep feeding it until it's fully raised up, meaning that you can raise a wyvern in literally about 15 minutes, I want to say. So you're gonna get your egg incubator, you can use whatever you really want. I'm just using an incubator. Gonna go ahead and claim him. So now how to get bison milk. This is one that a lot of people do get kind of confused on. All you have to do, it's very simple, is just breed one of the bison with one female. And now what we got to do is wait for him to want care, which is in about 10 minutes. Okay, so after about it being about 28% maturation, finally have it where he needs wyvern milk. So instead of wyvern milk, got to get that bison milk. So I'm gonna get one bison milk, and then hopefully this glitch will work. You feed it, and then instantly you're going to want to cryo it as it's getting the maturation. Alright, so what was supposed to happen here is that basically sometimes it can glitch out and you're able to get it to have another like milk thing, so you're able to feed it twice or up to 3 times, which would basically raise your wyvern pretty much instantly. But as I was literally filming this video, that kind of got nerfed, and what you have to do now is just basically every 15 minutes for the imprint, it's going to be wyvern milk, and you have to just kind of make sure that it is wyvern milk. If it's not, you're kind of out of luck, and you can just cryo, uncryo it over and over until you do get wyvern milk, all the way up to 100%. So you can realistically raise a wyvern in about an hour on official, which is pretty insane. Now, this is another simple bug, but it genuinely is game breaking. This has been in the game since the release of ASA, and that is the supply crates and cave drops spawning in the mesh. This has happened too many times to count, and it angers me every time, but when you go to a drop, they're like 10% of the time stuck in the mesh, and you cannot access them. It's insanely annoying when trying to farm drops, but not a horrible bug next to some of these next few. Duplicating is definitely a major issue and bug within ARK, and I wanted to just at least cover it on this list. Players are duplicating items in dinos using several different methods, and it needs to be patched immediately. One of the most common dupes involves uploading gear to an obelisk or drop, then crashing or disconnecting at the right time. When they log back in, the items are still in their inventory and on the server. Now yes, some of these duplicating kind of guides are not always going to be accurate, but I will not be teaching you guys how to duplicate in this video at all. I do not want to teach anybody, I just want to make it clear that this has been a major issue for a very long time. These dupes are flooding servers with unlimited element, armor, and high level dinos. The PvP balance is just completely ruined, and players just can't keep up anymore. And PvE is starting to feel pointless as well. So Wildcard just needs to fix this. The longer it's ignored, the more servers that are just going to get trashed, and people will just begin quitting the game. As we've already seen, a lot of people have already quit this game just because of simple things like that. So another kind of interesting thing that is still pretty broken, this has been broken since ASE, and is still broken on ASA. So let's say that somebody built their base, you know, up here on top of this mountain right here. It's kind of a bad example, but I mean, you guys get what I mean. They built high up, they have no spam around this thing. Now, there's something kind of tricky. So as you can see here, you're not allowed to put any foundations nearby because, you know, it's enemy foundation, unless you come all the way down here. So you can have a foundation right here. Now let's go ahead and just build up. So building up to these bases is usually the best way to kind of raid these kind of things. Now, you know, let's say that he has a bunch of turrets on here as well. All right, so yeah, as you can see here, once you come up to this limit, you know, your stuff like your pillars and all that, you can no longer place. But stuff like this, you can still place. All right, so it needs some more foundation support, but you know, since they don't have any spam down here, I can just keep building out, which means I can literally keep building up to a person's base. And I can build all the way up to here. And by about here, you know, you're going to have like a golem or just a stega, something already soaking turrets, and because you're literally on top of the base. Now, in my honest opinion, this only is going to work if these people are offline. If they're online, it's going to be a pretty difficult raid to do, because people can just take that down pretty much instantly. But yeah, it's shocking that, you know, the pillars stop there, but you can keep building ramps and just hatch frames and all kinds of stuff all the way up onto the base, which is absolutely wild. Like, look, I can literally build on to this guy's base, and I can literally build underneath his base. I can actually, hold on, if I can get to the snap point, I can actually build a ramp going straight into this guy's base. And just to be clear, as you can see here, this is not my tribe, this is my tribe. So in my opinion, this is still an extremely broken thing on this game. I really wish ARK would fix this problem, because I'm not gonna lie, this is one of the biggest reasons why I keep getting raided being like a solo player or something, because I log on and I have a giant just mess out front of my base, especially for like rat holes where you only have one way in and it's pretty high up. But yeah, I think in my opinion it's really broken. This is something that's just needs to be patched. It's just been too long that the ARK devs have just kind of just neglected this issue. Alright, now this one is just a pretty simple trick, but this has always been in ARK for a good minute, and that is being able to shoot underwater. So normally when you come, you know, into a water, you're not able to shoot anything, nothing works, which is actually a pretty good thing. But guess what? There is works around it, like you can't even shoot rockets underwater. If you do a simple tech jump, you can literally shoot under the water. So let me go deeper in the water just to show you guys how this really works. It is a little hard to see, but it does, like for example, I can shoot all the way. Okay, that one is not right. I need to go deeper down so you guys can see this. So let's jump from right here. And as you can see, it still works pretty well. Now, we got the assault rifle here. Now let's test this out. Okay, that one doesn't really function that well. Yeah, that one is a little trickier to get. Yeah, I don't think Fabi works. So Fabi doesn't seem to work. Yeah, the shotgun is a little tricky as well. But most importantly is the rockets. I mean, this is pretty overpowered. Being able to shoot rockets pretty far underwater like that. I don't think it's a huge deal because you can only really do it close to the surface now. They did patch it. You used to be able to do it all the way underwater. So it did get a bit of a nerf. But it still is very, very possible to do compared to, you know, if you were up here trying to shoot down. You know, it's those extra feet really do make a huge difference. So yeah, just tech jump and shoot. And just keep spamming it until it actually goes off and fires. So this may be one of the weirdest bugs that I've found on here, but it can be abused pretty well if you know kind of what you're doing. I'll tell you here in a second. So basically what you need to have is some train cars, I mean, not too long, but it needs to be angled like this and going straight into the ground. It doesn't matter if this thing's in the way or not, it just needs to be angled into the ground. And then you need to have a pillar about yay high, about 6 to 7 pillars high, and just a random platform on top. It doesn't really matter. And go ahead and just replace it. Now let's go ahead and attach the cart. I think it's attached. Now move forward a little bit, get it angled about right there. That's about good. Now come back here and detach your train car again. Hopefully this should work. Okay, so now do the exact same thing with the tech bridge, link it through the cab, and just like that, it's gonna completely just unrail itself. And now here's the fun part. So we're just gonna ride the train and yeah, it just kind of goes pretty much on forever. Now people can abuse this because you can still hop off and kind of hide from turrets and all that. And this thing is literally unstoppable, except for tech turrets, of course, you know, because tech turrets can damage the train. But this thing is literally unstoppable. Nothing can stop this train except for some terrain. So it'll keep going. It runs straight through dinos, it runs straight through rocks, it runs through pretty much everything in its way. And it will not stop going until it runs into a cliffside. Bit of a different kind of thing here. It can be abused if you know what you're doing, you know, for just like raiding and stuff, especially because it can kind of go straight over everything. Now, something that I do want to test, and I'm going to test that really quick, is if it can go straight through structures. All right, come on, let's see. Oh my god, okay, I thought it was going to go through. Oh my god. Still, it is still unstopped. I mean, it is unstoppable. Definitely a very interesting bug. It's extremely overpowered if you can use it for PvP, but definitely a weird one. Alright, so another fun thing that you can do with the train or the locomotive is this. Now I'm not really sure what to call this exactly, but you use your tech bridge and you can build up and do really funky stuff kind of like that. Alright, let's build the last one. Now you can build as many of these as you want. I'm just kind of doing it for the fun of it. Now you're probably wondering, oh, that looks just like a giant train spider. And it is, but something a little weird when you go over here to go drive it, got some charcoal in it, and you start moving, it all moves with you. Now I'm really not sure what to do with this, other than just make fun of it, I guess, but this doesn't really make sense. So, like, let's go back here, and you can literally climb up all of this and still function with the train and everything. I mean, you can honestly glitch into structures with this too, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, so let's try and just glitch through this wall and just see what exactly happens. Go. Alright, can I glitch through the wall? Oh my god, you can glitch through the walls. No way. No way. Yes, having a train track close to someone's base, I don't think is going to work properly. But if you can edit it just right, you can glitch straight through somebody's base and their structures. Oh man, gotta love this game. I don't know whose idea it was to allow tech bridges to be built on a train, but okay. Alright, so I've just logged back in over here to look at the train and the bridge thing, you know, looking like a spider. And it just did something a lot worse than I thought that it could do. It decided to connect it all the way over here and it pairs up with the bridges, with the original ones that I put down. And sure enough, it functions. It's fully functioning on the train. I mean, you can raid somebody across the entire map at this point. Like, you literally could. Can you walk on them? Oh my god. There's no way. Oh, but when you get out of render, it stops. Okay, so it stops at render distance, which does kind of suck. But still, this is just the funniest looking thing I've ever seen. Up next, we have something a little different, but still should be patched. It's very overpowered. When you mix the Vyuin and the Spring Drake, it doesn't have to be spring, at least I don't think so. I'm still trying to learn all the 4, what each of them do. And then you have to go in here as well, and when you scroll down, you'll see bonded taming. And now this allows for creatures that you tame to gain a 10, 20, or 30% imprint bonus for you. That does kind of play into this a little bit, I believe. Now when you are riding on top and he has been injured or hurt, as you can see here with all 3 of your dinos just kind of sitting right here, adds a pretty crazy buff right here. I mean, you're regenerating health extremely fast, but yeah, as you can see, he is regenerating insanely fast. I mean, that's pretty overpowered in my opinion. For him to roughly get to full health would take, what, about 2 minutes, I want to say? 2-ish minutes. Alright, and then we have sideways foundations. Now, building sideways foundations is a little tricky, but it's not too terrible to do. And I actually found out how to do a step further, you know, from going sideways to fully sideways and upside down foundations. So I'll show you that first. So here's how you do it. So you're going to want to go ahead and build, I usually do about 3 foundations. Go ahead and get yourself some stairs, or, you know, a ramp. It doesn't really matter, it should be like that. Now, you can usually just line it up normally like this, but as you can see, if it's not off, like if it's not perfectly centered, it's gonna mess it up. So I just get a ladder, angle about right here, and then just walk up till you're about in the middle, and then just place. And as you see, it still is a little crooked, so I'm gonna try and just see the snap point, see if it's like pretty even. Yeah, okay, that's pretty good. That's still fine to me. So yeah, as you can see, it places this pretty much sideways. Now I'm just gonna double check. Yeah, okay. So that's good. Now you can't place any foundations or anything yet. You have to put down a wall first, and then you can place down a foundation. Now you can go ahead and pick up that wall, and as you can see, here is your foundation right here. Now if you want to take it a step further, you can go ahead and do this exact same step. So almost identical, but you gotta get your stairs again. Do stairs like that, and try to line it up. It's gonna be very glitchy until it looks something like that. And then you have a fully sideways spike. Now you can place fully sideways stuff. Yeah, that is probably the best snap point that I got on that, actually, because that is very hard to replicate this. Alright, so let's go ahead and move this over here, and then I can actually show you guys this method. Now you're gonna have to put walls down pretty much on the ground, and as you can see, the cool part about this is that you cannot walk on these, which is pretty overpowered, because if you put this down like on a floor or something inside of a base, players cannot rocket run. It's not physically possible to rocket run, and you also do get stuck on them, which is pretty overpowered. Now if you want to go a step further, you can also do foundations. It's a little tricky to get some of them to snap. You can also stack them as well. I mean, you can literally just keep stacking foundations over and over and over. If you're having to build like a turret wall or something on your base and you want it to be even more just overpowered, definitely build this. It's just a huge thing on your base. I wish that this would get patched though, because I've seen a couple people use this on their base, and it is very difficult to raid. Now we just went over the trains and all of the things about what trains can do, but there is still, I believe, 1 or 2 more, if depending on if I find some more. But there's one more other method that I found that is just ridiculous that this is still in the game. I'm shocked that this is still here. Now this one's a little trickier to do, because, you know, on a PvP server, getting train tracks close to a base is pretty difficult to do. So you have your train tracks going up to a base, then here's your turrets. Now let's say that somebody doesn't have foundation spam close to these turrets, and you're getting shot by them, right? Now the average foundation spam would probably end right here, and turrets shoot about 20 foundations out, so it would still shoot right there. Now I found out something very interesting about heavy turrets and trains. So I'm going to go fully out of God mode. Alright, so I'm fully out of God mode, as you can see. Now let's go ahead and just ride the train into the turrets. As you can see, I am literally soaking every single bullet out of these turrets, or at least these 3. That other turret doesn't want to fire for some reason. And it's doing 0 damage to me, it's doing 0 damage to the train. When I get off of it, it's doing 0 damage. Even when I poke around here. And I can go all the way up until there. I mean, that is just insanely impressive to me. I mean, I'm amazed that this is not patched yet. Like, how is this still just a thing? I don't know. If somebody can put down a train track close to a base, which is going to be very unlikely, but if you can, well, there's a pretty easy way to soak some turrets. Alright, so there's another method of raiding that I found, and I'll show you this really quick. But it just requires a dreadmare. I mean, technically 2, but you can do it with 1. And it also requires a dreadnotis. So all you have to do is just pick it up. You know, you got to get your black hole like rating up, which you can do by just upgrading your weight in your inventory. Once it's above 1,000 plus, you can pick up a dreadnotis, it'll go green, and then you just hit C on your keyboard and you can pick them up. So when you pick them up, and then you can get over here. Now let's say that those turrets up there, which are going to be hard for you to see, but the turrets that we use for the train. Now let's say that that's a base, right? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just whistle on, let's see, I'll whistle on neutral, right? He's basically a suicide, so he's going to die from the turrets. And this dreadmare is going to be our way of getting him in. My whistle command for some reason is not working. I think ARK's broken right now. But I'm just going to just whistle him into these turrets and watch what happens. Okay, well, hold on. Okay, as you can see, when he dies, it basically just bombs the turrets with a dreadnotis. And wow, that dreadnotis died very, very quickly. But yeah, so basically it just kind of just like suicide bombs in a way. Now this usually works just by whistling the flyer onto that base. But for some reason my command is not working and I don't know why. So I just did it that way. But yeah, so that just kind of shows you that method. It's definitely a pretty cool one in my opinion, but it is extremely broken. And you can do this with any other dino, by the way. So if you want to try to just suicide, I don't know, a stego onto a base, onto somebody's base, you can also do that. But with the dreadnotis, the biggest thing about them is that, for example, look at this. I'm only being shot by 2 turrets now. If you just keep suiciding these giant things, even Bronto bodies, just something big, you can basically outline of sight every single turret that you're trying to get past and get straight into the base. It's extremely broken. I'm shocked that ARK still hasn't fixed this. But yeah, hate to say it, but a lot of you guys are definitely gonna hate me for all this stuff in this video. Alright, now if you've ever encountered, you know, an underwater base or like an underwater turret tower that's just kind of annoying you and you just don't want to go out there, you know, deal with having to try to soak it, try to raid it, here's a much easier way of taking this kind of stuff down. So what you're going to need first of all is a Shastosaurus with the platform saddle. So that alone is not the easiest thing to get, but it's not too terrible. And then when you come inside, you're going to need a cannon, some cannonballs, and just one singular foundation. Now your foundation has to be as far out as physically possible, where it's kind of poking out like this. Now go ahead and place it. And then the cannon should have a snap point. Snap it and make it face this way. And then as you can see, when you put a cannonball in it, you're able to fire. I don't believe that you're able to fire cannons underwater to just begin with. So, I mean, that's pretty big by itself. So let's try to aim it. And let's try and just fire and take this thing down. Alright, I think that was almost a direct hit. Alright, so we're right here. So, you know, on a regular server, I would be getting shot by that by now. Alright, let's try and shoot. So yeah, that's directly hitting it as well. Alright, so let's go ahead and aim it a little bit right. Okay, that's getting direct hits. Yeah, okay, no, it is hitting him. And it is damaging the structures like a regular cannon would. I mean, the cannons did get nerfed on ASA, so they're not as strong as they were. But I'm not gonna lie, that is still a very overpowered method to taking this kind of stuff down. Okay, now this one is a bit of a weird one, and it's more of like a temporary kind of one. But with these survivor mates, as you can see here, if you kill them on like an entrance to a cave or something, they basically work as like a roadblock for players and for like any dinos, so you cannot get past it. I mean, you can jump over them, but if you have a ton of them, you can't get into the base. And you cannot harvest them, at least to my knowledge. You cannot hit them with a pickaxe. So hypothetically, well, you got to keep killing them. But if you keep killing these guys just over and over and over, you should be able to just kind of build a giant roadblock. So let me see if I can make that really quick. All right, so this is about 50 of them, and considering that, you know, these things are a little on the pricier side to craft, I would say it's not fully recommended. But if you just have an absolute crap load of resources and you're getting raided, like you're a mega tribe and your base entrance is very tiny and it looks something like this, you know, it's elevated aiming up, because the other side doesn't really function properly. But if it's aiming up, it is not, I mean, it's possible to get in here, but you keep getting stuck on them. And if somebody's trying to rocket run your base, they can't get in. I mean, I'm trying to get over this, and yeah, it's definitely struggling. It still is possible, but yeah, this way, you know, I can walk straight in. So this is just a bad layout for this entrance, but if your entrance is similar to that, this definitely is a pretty big game changer. And you cannot harvest them. They are permanently here for 17 hours. Unless there is a different way to harvest them that I don't know about. This is a pretty overpowered method. Alright, now a different kind of tip. It still is a little bit broken, but it is these decor boxes and these plant pot things. So kind of how this works, let's say you put a decor box down, and it's depending on whatever skin that you have, but you have to download a cosmetic skin that's just has some trees and just some landscape in it, because guess what, about 80 to 85% of them actually do work on official servers, which is pretty cool. Now the problem with this is that I can place this down and it blends in and looks like a regular tree. In fact, if you didn't know, all of these trees I placed down right here are completely fake trees. They're not even real, and you probably didn't even notice that. A big thing, now this is a bit noticeable, and I can't find the right tree mod that blends in better with like some of these bigger trees. I'm trying to find the ones that are bigger, because with the bigger trees, you can basically hide these plant pots in them. Now, you're probably wondering what the plant pots are used for. So basically, like, let's say I hide it in the tree. Again, this is not thick enough to hide it in there, so it doesn't really function properly. But these plant pots actually work as a foundation, meaning that if somebody has to put down some foundations or something, they're not going to be able to see where these foundations are, which means that they cannot do spam or they cannot build in a certain area. But yeah, they just think that all the trees out here are just real trees, unless they try and go and actually just harvest them. So I mean, it's a pretty simple little tip, but yeah, so definitely a very interesting one, and it can be used to just spam all around the map. So if a giant tribe wants to just spam out an entire area to trick a lot of people, they're not even going to see the plant pots, and basically makes it invisible, and people are going to get very, very angry. So yeah, that definitely needs to get patched. So another really good base defense feature to have just kind of hidden on your base is, shockingly, a training dummy. Now, this might sound really stupid, but you can have up to 150 of them in a range, which is the same, I believe, as a turret range. Now, the awkward thing about a dummy is you can do this. So you can change it to a male or female. I'm going to change mine to male just to kind of, it doesn't really cover any more surface distance. It's about the same. Now go ahead and hide the base. Once that is hidden, you can now access its inventory, scroll down, and take out the dermis. And just like that, you literally can't see anything. It's completely, I mean, it cannot be taken down. I mean, it can with C4 from an enemy tribe, of course, but it is 100% a invisible kind of wall. I don't even know. I think this is just kind of stupid, in my opinion. It's kind of just a dumb thing that they really should have never had. I don't know if it was intentional or not. So let's go turn this entire wall into this exact thing. And just like that, you have an entire invisible wall. It literally cannot be seen at all. But unfortunately, turrets do get caught up on them, so you gotta be careful how you place them. But yeah, I'm literally running across here. The average person would be extremely confused, and you can't even jump over them, which I like too. I mean, if you're running at a base trying to rocket run, it is a 100% invisible thing that'll keep players off of your base. Completely broken. I hope it gets patched, but until it gets patched. I would absolutely abuse the crap out of this because it's pretty overpowered. So another very broken aspect is on the skill tree, on this brand new skill tree if you paid for it. I know a lot of you guys didn't, but I went ahead and did it just so I can kind of expose this whole thing. So, you know, when you work your way around, you got these skill points, you know, the unlocked things on here, and then you'll see this, which is telekinesis. This allows you to gain an active ability. For the next 60 seconds, you can access inventories, pick up dropped items, and toggle structures that you can see within 30 meters. And I'm not gonna lie, that just sounds overpowered as crap. Like, what? So anyways, I went ahead and unlocked it. There is an enemy base. I am getting shot by turrets, so there's that. But let's just see what I can access. Okay, so I have to be right there, but I can access all of this. And that's the side of a replicator. Can I access turrets? You can access turrets? What? Okay, I can access the vaults. I can access chem benches. You can access the generators? What? And you can access the transmitters. Dude, you cannot make this up. Like, oh, yeah, I'm just gonna walk up to a base. Oh, hey, what's up? You know, just take all your ammo. You know, nothing too overpowered and pay to win about that, right, guys? I mean, what could possibly be overpowered about this, right? Oh, took your element, no more generator on your main base. Can somebody please explain to me how this is not pay to win? Like, excuse me? Like, I just walked up. Oh, by the way, I was all the way over there, took the ammo out of turrets, took the generator apart, you know, took stuff out of the replicator. And this is something that ARK is 100% not going to take out of the game because they intentionally put it in here. So, yeah, kind of annoying. So another very just insanely overpowered thing on this new skill tree is this one. And this one is very easy to unlock as well. It's literally like the second one down. It's called Speedy Harvester. Now, harvesting a resource node grants you 5% movement speed per stack for 20 seconds per stack, stacking up to 5 times. Now that might sound a little bit confusing, so let me just show you what it does on a player, and then I'll show you what it does on a carch, because oh my god. Okay, so on a player, you know how, there's no more movement speed? Oh yeah, ARK was just like, hey, let's just add movement speed back, but only for people that pay us, $30. So yeah, when you harvest something like this, as you can see, your movement speed goes up quite a bit. I'm gonna harvest this, start harvesting more, just harvest this, because why not? Now let's go hit this tree really quick. Oh, there we go. Now, this is insanely fast. So if you guys already do know, this is how fast that the charge normally does run, and he runs a lot faster when he harvests, right? Let's go ahead and harvest. Let's try and get him into a bit of a rage really quick. There's a rage. Okay, he's currently on 1x. If I can keep it going. And this is the new speed of a charge, which is absolutely ridiculous. And you can keep stacking this as well, all the way up to 5 times. And by the way, this is what it looks like with no stamina, which is incredibly fast. Alright, now he's raged. This is the true scale of how fast that a carch is. Like, isn't that just ridiculous? Like, I get it, yeah, because, it doesn't last too long. I understand that. Just because of the rage buff, it doesn't last more than like 5 seconds. But in a PvP moment, every single one of those seconds matter when you're fighting people on carches or gigas or literally like anything. I mean, that is just ridiculously fast. Another just insanely overpowered thing on the new skill tree that just needs to be packed. Oh, and I almost forgot to show you guys how the wyverns are too. So I have a pretty high level wyvern just to show you guys so I can just kill stuff very quickly and get some harvesting levels. So, alright, so there's 2 of them, but just to show you guys the amount of speed boost that you get on a wyvern is kind of crazy. I mean, it doesn't look like it's very fast, but when you're trying to chase down somebody on like a PT or something, this just overpowers them. So a person on a PT they just stand no chance against a lightning now, or just a fire. I mean, it's just over with that simple thing. Now this one really does kind of anger me that you're able to do this, but ARK just completely forgot to kind of fix this, so I'm assured that this one will be getting patched. Now when you build up, You can't really build up as high as I did for foundation support, but you can build up to about right here, and there's different ways to stack this, which I'll show you if I can figure it out. Now, with the tech bunker, you know, this can usually be placed on the ground, but I found out that you can place it in the middle of the sky. And more importantly, you can just pick everything up and just let it float. I mean, there's nothing connecting to this, and to prove it, I'm gonna get rid of the foundation down here. So as you can see, you can now have floating bunkers. That's just insane to me. Okay, now let's try and, yep, you can keep building. Oh my god. Oh my god. It counts as foundation support. Oh my god, you can build a floating base. I didn't even realize this part. Now, it does say it's scanning for something. I don't really know what that means. Can you keep building? Too close to other bunker. Okay, hold on. That might just mean that we have to just go higher. No way! You can just keep going up higher and higher like this. Oh my god, wait a minute. This is probably the way. Yeah, this is how you do it. Okay, I just built another tech bunker. Alright, I'm gonna try to just go up to the limit. We exceeded the try bunker limit. However, we may not be done just yet. Oh my god, so I just figured out how to make floating structures. It's this easy? There's no way. Yeah, and then you can just keep building up. Do I have more oh my god, I have extra foundation support. I really don't want to break this. Like, I'm getting kind of nervous that it's just gonna break and I'm gonna lose all of it. But also knowing ARK, I don't know, probably not. No, oh my god. Okay, so it looks like it's just taking the first layer of bunker and using that as the maximum height limit. So this is the absolute limit that you can build. Now let's go down here. And yeah, there you go. That is our limit to how high that we can build bunkers. And you can build a little base around it, sort of. Yeah, sort of. It doesn't fully function, but yeah, that's just absolutely insane. This is the barrier. I can build literally up to the barrier. And this is 100% floating off of nothing. Well, and just like that, we are almost, what I would say, 200 walls up, or like 200 pillars high currently. This is just insane. Oh my god, you can put a generator down? Can you put turrets down? You can put turrets down up here. Oh my god, you can place turrets, you can put generators. You can literally build a floating base at the barrier of the world. What is this game, dude? What is this game? Oh my god. But yeah, anyways, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. It was definitely a very interesting one. But anyways, that's it for today's video, and thanks for watching.